Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. What is good? Hopefully, everyone is chilling and enjoying this night. It's Wednesday, midweek. So, you know what it is? It's one day closer to the weekend. You know what's popping. So, the topic today is, Lions in the lightweight division. But I want to kick it off by, dropping some news for you. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in, dropping in the live chat or what have you. Salute to you. I want to start off by talking about why in boxing it is so important for these fighters to basically raise themselves up accordingly their entire career. All right. We just got word that Oscar De La Hoya, 47-year-old Oscar De La Hoya, 6th division champion. You know what I'm saying? 39 wins, 6 losses, and 30 by KO. You know what it is with Oscar De La Hoya. At one point in time, he was the man. You know what I'm saying? He was a very entertaining fighter to watch. When the word came out that he's thinking about returning to the sport, I said to myself, for what? It just can't be that you're missing the sport, because it's a lot of health situations that you have to, consider. So when I heard this, I said, 47 years old, we have all these fighters, first Roy Jones, Mike Tyson, all these fighters thinking about returning. And now Oscar De La Hoya, the one that I haven't seen hit the mitts in I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen Oscar De La Hoya hit the mitts at all. What's going on, Lawrence Williams? How you feel, bro? I haven't seen this cat hit the mitts at all, man. They say Oscar De La Hoya told ESPN on Wednesday that he will return to the ring at 47. 12 years. Let me underscore that. 12 years after his last fight, people. The 11-time title is confirmed he's ready to end his retirement. Now, either one, he done snorted all his money up, or he just really missing the sport. I just don't think he's really missing the sport. The rumors are true. I'm going to start sparring in the next few weeks. De La Hoya said. De La Hoya, 39 and 6, 30 KOs, added that he would not be engaging in an exhibition fight like fellow retired champions Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Wow. I got to let this sit a little bit. De La Hoya will not be participating in the exhibition bout. Then I'm asking, who's going to clear this cat? Let me continue. It's a real fight, he said. I miss being in the ring. I love boxing. Boxing is what gave me everything I have today, and I just miss it. After winning the gold medal for the United States at the Olympics in Barcelona, De La Hoya had a meteoric rise in the professional ranks, winning the WBO junior lightweight title by stopping Jimmy Bredal in 10 rounds in 1994 and only in the 12th professional bout. De La Hoya will eventually win major titles in 6 different weight classes. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it goes on to say, look, my last fight with Pacquiao, I weighed at 145. And obviously that was a shell of myself, said De La Hoya, of his ill-fated decision to move down to welterweight to face Pacquiao after 7 years of campaigning at junior middleweight, which is 154. Now, as he sets to return, De La Hoya understands that many will question his decision. You damn right we are. Absolutely, we're going to question it. 12 years from your last fight, and you're talking about you about to get back into sparring? No, man. You have a lot of other areas you need to clear up before you even think about getting back into sparring. You go into sparring right now, it's going to be footage of you laying up underneath the goddamn first rope, drooling from the mouth. His quotes say, look, it's been a long time, he said, but actually my jab, he said his jab feels faster than ever. I have to make sure that my condition is perfect, my health is good, and that's going to take place in the next few weeks. So we'll see. And that's all I'm reading for that article, man, because this shit just get too hilarious for me, man. No, hold up. I disagree. Let me get this out. De La Hoya, who has battled drug and alcohol addiction in the past, said he started to get back in shape a couple of months ago. And he has been feeling better than ever. The old itch came back. De La Hoya said, look around, current landscape boxing. Didn't like what he saw. Anyway, I don't want to hear that bullshit talking about current landscape of boxing. He didn't like what he's saying. What you trying to say? You going to step in there with Charlo at 154? You going to step in there with anybody at 154? Come on, man. You going to step in there at 160? I just had to get that out there. You know, the man was on drugs, and he think his body is just going to get back in condition that quick in 2 months. And talking about his jab has been faster than ever. Yeah, let's talk about it. The jab can be faster than ever. You know what I'm saying? You can make that happen. Real talk. You can definitely make that shit happen. But that's not something we care about right now. It's a whole nother unit that's attached to that arm. It's your brain, your heart, and your entire physical composition. And we all know drugs degrade the internal aspect of the organs, like the lungs and everything else. So when it comes time for you to start running, getting back into shape, putting in rounds, it's going to be tough, shawty. It's going to be tough for you, shawty. You ain't going to just be able to come back in there and start sparring. No, you need to get into some like calisthenics, some high energy workout, you know, to get your heart rate, get used to moving back and forth. Anyway, I just thought I'd let y'all know that little tidbit. Next, I just want to, you know, give y'all a brief snippet that, you know, Emmanuel Navarrete, right? He's supposed to have a face Jesse Magdaleno, the brother of Diego Magdaleno. And somehow when Top Rank won the purse bid, they sent the contract and everything to Jesse Magdaleno, and he never responded. So now they're bringing in another replacement, which, you know, on record, he seems okay. His name is Ruben Villa, 18-05 knockouts, a 23-year-old featherweight continuing from Salinas, California, who is the highest rated available challenger. That means if he's the highest rated available challenger, that means they just pulled him from the ranking system and they want to keep this fight to make some money. Villa somehow lost his place in the line upon the first update of the WBO ranking since the global health crisis, with July 20th showing Navarrete 32-1, 28 KOs, and Magdaleno 28-1, 18 KOs ranked ahead of him. So that kind of give you an idea, you know, of where we're going with boxing. You know, we have to worry about COVID, and then you have to worry about fighters that may not be in the best condition. I surely thought Jesse Magdaleno would have wanted this fight, but Navarrete, Emmanuel Navarrete, is actually a tough fighter, man. He's one of my best fighters, you know, in that division, especially since Shakur Stevenson vacated his title. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him step in there and do what he got to do. Lawrence say Villa is good. He was 2-2 versus Shakur in the amateur. Yeah, Villa is not a bad fighter, like per se, but he's not going to have a solid chance against Emmanuel Navarrete right now, in my opinion. But he was pretty decent, like you said, in the AMs, and this, you know, this is a whole nother level. And when it comes down to fighting somebody like Navarrete, that's a tall task, man. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that's a tall task. He's on a run right now. Bill's a slick southpaw. Yeah, I seen that, you know, in his box rec and everything. Can fight in the pocket and box. He just lacks power. Yeah, when I seen those knockouts, I'm saying to myself, how's it going to play a role against a guy like Navarrete who works for the knockout? You know what I'm saying? Navarrete is 32-1, 28 knockouts, man. This man got 5 knockouts. I don't think he's making it to the distance unless, what you said, Lawrence, unless he's able to basically use, you know, being slick, knowing how to cut the angles, use his defense, and knowing when to fight Navarrete close or when to fight him off the back foot. Because Navarrete, he does switches up like that. He can press you, or he can fight, at distance. And whenever he chooses to close, he can do it without announcement. Like, you will never know. He's out. He's very slick in how he maneuvers himself in the ring. Let me know if you want to jump on here and talk about this. Lightweight division, man. I'll drop the link for a little bit. That's up to you. Magdaleno is the number one in the WBC. You got Jesse Magdaleno and Diego Magdaleno. Austin Dulé, Diego Magdaleno just came off that win earlier in Nashville, Tennessee. I was actually at that fight when he fought Diego Magdaleno, the same one who Teofimo knocked out. So Jesse Magdaleno was supposed to step in here and get this smoke with Navarrete, but he didn't answer the monetary contractual offering that Top Rank sent to him after the purse bid was confirmed. So he has like a 24-hour period to return it, and he never returned it. So they had to look for another opponent, unfortunately. Hold up for a second. So that's where we at right now. The big tell of the story is, though, it's the lines in the lightweight division. As you saw my thumbnail, you had all the top 5 lines that's in the lightweight division, which it looks very good. This particular division could possibly unify. It will unify. Let me take that back. It will unify for Undisputed before the welterweight division. And what's crazy about it, the lightweight division was actually in a process, was in a point where they could unify when Mikey Garcia and all them was down there, but no one never wanted to link up all the champions to kind of make that fight happen. That just goes to show you some people weren't willing to fight the other when they was down there. I look at the Lions, the 5, Garcia, Tank, Haney, Loma, and Teofimo. That whole entire fight that's going down in the end of the year between Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, I like it. I like it in the sense where I'm going for Teofimo Lopez to defeat Lomachenko. If that is in case, we may be entertained to have 2 unification bouts. That's if the money and everything else works out. Now, if you're asking, well, how can we get 2 unification bouts? It may be 2 of the, if we can pull it off, it may be 2 of the biggest unification bouts within a year span, if it can pop off like that. And this is only if Teofimo Lopez wins. Only if Teofimo Lopez wins. Because I surely don't think Lomachenko, if he is to collect the belts, I don't see him keeping them. I think he's going to vacate it, and he's going to dabble down at 130. You know what I'm saying? But for a unification bout, Teofimo Lopez has been on record as saying, if I win, yeah, I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to fight and defend my belts. So the first person that should be in mind is Devin Haney, of course, because he has a super title. Now, could you imagine Teofimo winning the belts from Lomachenko, the WBA, WBO, all right? And he's being presented, if he wins, the franchise belt. If by chance it works out in his favor and he becomes a unified champion, then he gets not only the paycheck of $2 million that he's received from Lomachenko, he gets to also get another decent check if he was to fight Devin Haney. And that fight will have people in the stands. I mean, by that time, we might have a minimal gathering of individuals that can step in there and check out the fight. But we can get Lopez to fight Haney for all the marbles and everything else, and the WBC, that fight would be great. I think that'll be one of the biggest fights this year because it doesn't seem like, I mean, outside of Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, I think it'll be another big time headliner after we find out who's going to unify the titles. And I'm only leaning towards Teofimo Lopez because I think he's the only one out of the two that would even think about or consider fighting the other champion for the WBC. I think he'll be the only one. Now, what makes it more promising is that, look at this scenario. Teofimo Lopez will be able to fight who he chooses. So you have the other fighters this lying in wait, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. So Gervonta has a fight coming up really soon. So all these fighters will get their big fights out the way. The only one not scheduled for a fight right now is Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia is scheduled to fight for the interim WBC title. Gervonta is scheduled to fight Leo Santa Cruz. And then you have Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. So what that says is they will be ready around the same time to link up for another big fight. So could we see Gervonta after he fight Leo Santa Cruz, have a big championship fight? Could we see Ryan Garcia? Because if Ryan Garcia becomes the mandatory, the WBC interim title holder, of course, he's going to have to link up with Devin Haney. But then if Teofimo Lopez wins the unification belts, unification trumps, the mandatory. It trumps everything. Unification bout trumps everything, period. So I'm just letting y'all know. Just because Ryan Garcia will be up in the interim title, he should beat Luke Campbell. You never know. Luke Campbell might beat Ryan Garcia. But everybody's kind of flip-flopping on who they's favoring in that fight. But tell you what, Ryan Garcia, he gets the title. Unification trumps him. So he may have to just wait. He may have to wait and fight somebody else. So from what my understanding is, Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell's going down. I'm looking forward to seeing that fight for some crazy reason. Only because, the performance that Luke Campbell put on against Lomachenko, I don't consider Ryan Garcia better than Lomachenko. I didn't think Luke Campbell did extremely bad in that fight. I just think he could have did more. And, it looked like his cardio was pretty decent. But he just could have, did better in revising his punch selection against a fighter like Vasily Lomachenko. That's all I'm saying about that fight. Like, I think he could have did better. He wasn't garbage. But against Garcia, if it's one of these things where, Devin Haney knocked out Mason Menard in 9, and then Teofimo comes and knock him out in 1, I don't want to see this shit with Luke Campbell going in there, going the distance with Lomachenko, and Ryan Garcia knocks him out in 2. I don't want to see that because that's only going to take me further back in boxing to tell me that these fighters, when they get these call-ups to these fights, man, there may be orders, man. They may be getting these orders because I can see these dudes just get knocked out when they perform well against the highest on the food chain. Lomachenko is a top pound-for-pound fighter. You win 12 rounds with him. And then you come over here and go to Ryan Garcia, the uprising golden child, and you're fighting for the interim WBC, and they want Ryan to be the interim WBC to set up a big bout with potentially Devin Haney or somebody. So you go in there and do just enough to lose? I don't like that, man. I want Luke Campbell to go in there and put Ryan Garcia in adversity. I want Ryan Garcia to do the same to Luke Campbell, and we just want to see them go at it. We don't want to see no counter left hook. We don't want to see no check left hook. And he's down in the first round, the second round, and acting like he'd never been hit with a shot before. We don't want to see no BS like that. Chain TC in the building. Salute, man. What's good? What's good? But that's where we at when it comes to the lightweight division. I like it. I like what I'm seeing with Tank. Tank is headed down there to fight Leo Santa Cruz, the 4th division champion, and arguably the one of the biggest names that's going to be on his resume. Now, I do try to explain this to the audience most of the time, is that Floyd has Tank in his possession right now. And recently Calvin Ford joined him, which is good. That's his other coach up in Baltimore. Shout out to Calvin Ford. They was on the road the other night. Floyd, the whole team, they was going road work, y'all. It looks good. It looks good. I don't want to say it looked promising, but right now it looks structured. It just looks structured. It looks like everything is where it's supposed to be. They meet in a timeline. They have a schedule, and they out here making it happen. And, you know, doing road work, making sure the nutrition right, and they making sure they hammer down this weight issue and make sure Tank is in the area, just in the area. They just want them pounds right in the area so they can just shed that little bit right before time to weigh in when they shake out. So Tank was out there. Floyd, everybody was out there pushing pavement. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. And I'm curious to know if Tank is going to even take a trip back over to Baltimore before his fight. Because I would be hard pressed to say, okay, Floyd has him down here sticking to a regiment to get him in shape, and then allow him to go back over to Baltimore where he may be distracted a little. Now, Floyd want him to make this 130 because he want it to be a fight that Tank don't have any issues on the scale, and he doesn't have too much unnecessary drama to worry about. He goes make the weight, and then he chills and get ready to go fight. People, listen to me when I tell you when Tank goes in this fight. He's going to show a lot of people what I say all the time. Tank is a savage when it comes down to it. He can box, regardless of what you see him as and how he acts. The way he talks and all this other shit. Tank is a savage at the end of the day when it comes to boxing. He can box. He can box off the back foot, front foot, left, right. It don't make a difference. On the inside, he can box. And, a lot of people are speaking about Leo Santa Cruz punch output. Yes, that's what Leo Santa Cruz does. But the punching stops when you get popped in the mouth. And if Gervonta Davis cannot get close enough to Leo Santa Cruz to make him pay, then it's going to be a problem. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't think he will have a problem getting on the inside of Leo Santa Cruz. I would like to see Leo Santa Cruz to see if he's just going to clinch up, Gervonta early rounds once he starts to get on the inside and try to hit him, with those hard hooks to the body, and then try to catch him with that uppercut, because he loves shooting that right uppercut. That left uppercut, it don't matter which one it is. He loves shooting it up there, right? I really want to see if Leo Santa Cruz can take that power. If he can take it, for how long? And then I want to see, can he do enough to wear down Tank Davis to the mid to late rounds and make it interesting? If he can do that, then we got a fight on our hands. We have a fight on our hands between, Santa Cruz and Davis, that the people are going to really say, okay, let me look at this shit. Let me see how Davis handles this, because everybody else is up there in that top tier position in lightweight division. They're going to be tuned in too. They're going to be looking at that fight. They're going to be critiquing it. You know what I'm saying? What can I get from this? What can I do with this? So I think Tank Davis, he's going to be in tremendous shape for this fight. He's ready. I'm not sure how he's mentally focused or whatever, but he's there with Floyd. Floyd has been doing more than enough for this training camp. And when it comes down to it, I'm looking forward to seeing Leo Santa Cruz link up. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Now, for the entire vision as a whole, when it comes down, I was asked yesterday, And I was actually talking to somebody about what I said on the live. Somebody hit me up. So I was talking to two people about how I ranked the lightweights and everything. And the way I ranked them was, Ryan Garcia was 5th. Ryan Garcia was 5th. Gervonta Davis was 4th. And Devin Haney 3rd. And number 2 was Lomachenko. And then number 1, Teofimo Lopez. And let me tell you quickly why I did that. Because Ryan Garcia, he's still working his way up. He's a bit green in He's a bit green in the game. And he still has a way to go to get to the big fight. He's almost there. He's about to fight Luke Campbell. But still, he's out of the equation when it comes to, resume. He's undefeated. He has these fights and everything. Still has an O on his record. But he's still getting to that point where he can be considered a threat. And then you move up to Gervonta Davis, who is a 2-division champion, right? But as in lightweight, he still needs to fight somebody of notoriety, somebody with ranking etiquette, someone that's important. And Gamboa is not just the one to do it, because Gamboa didn't have a belt. And, Gamboa moving up and facing Gervonta Davis in this division, he haven't been a part in a minute. He did what he had to do and stop him in the 12th. But, as far as his discipline, missing weight on the scale, I have to leave him at 4th. You know what I'm saying? Then 3rd, Devin Haney, of course, he's an undefeated fighter who is also still building himself up too. And the reason why I say he building himself up is that he just was able to obtain his championship, the WBC, from the interim up. He was elevated to the WBC super title when Vasily Lomachenko decided to get the franchise belt. Now, as far as Devin Haney goes in that division, he still has work to do on the quality of his resume and those individuals that he chooses to fight. It definitely has to happen that way because he's a big name. He's one of the best top tier names in the lightweight division, but yet he needs to just work on having the top tier names in the lightweight division, which is going to come real soon. But right now, for me, it hasn't happened. Alfredo Santiago wasn't the guy, and plus, just last year, he fought on the undercard of KSI Logan Paul at the Staples Center, but he needs to get to the point where people are taking him, serious enough to put him in a co-main event or big up on the big name, or even, close to a main event. Once we figure out who his next opponent is and things like that. But the way I look at it, it's not all about just having the record with an O on it, but you have to feed and scrub the list and see what fighters are on there. And the list can, the resume can be broken down in many, many areas. It's just so many areas a resume can be broken down. But anyway, Lomachenko is in number 2. Why? Because he's a 3-division champion. But why I place him below Teofimo Lopez? Because he's 14-1 as a fighter. Teofimo is 15-0, right? So if Teofimo is 15-0 with the IBF belt, and Lomachenko is 14-1 with 3 divisions, shouldn't it have been competent enough for him to say, let me unify the division when I won the WBC from Luke Campbell? Wouldn't that have been the most logical, astute choice? To say, let me go ahead and pick up this IBF once they're done. No, he went on and vacated the WBC. So he may not have had to face Devin Haney whenever that time comes, but he'd rather, vacate the title, get the franchise belt. And now him and Teofimo Lopez is scheduled to basically lock up in October. Shout out to Boxing Learning. What's good, man? Salute. So this is my take on it. Teofimo Lopez in 15 fights, he's fighting for a unified title, unification of a division. Teofimo Lopez is fighting for entire unification in the lightweight division in only 15 fights. Then you say to yourself, again, why do you have Lomachenko in back? I have him behind Vasily because I have Vasily behind Teofimo because he wouldn't take the initiative to do what was right when he was the unified champion. He chose not to. You don't get points for going up here lacking common sense and not taking the division serious. You don't get points for that. You're at the top pound for pound, but yet you didn't keep the super title because potentially you would have been in the ring with Devin Haney. That's just not the way you set the example. If people are going to look at Vasily Lomachenko as this guy who is the bar in the lightweight division, then you need to set the example for others to follow. And guess what? You didn't do it. So that's why I got someone who's a 3-division champion. I got him behind Teofimo because guess what? Teofimo's doing something Lomachenko wasn't able to do. And that's fight for unification of the entire Undisputed. That's what he's doing. And I totally appreciate that too. They're fighting for the Undisputed. Plus he got 2 million. Man, boss move. Checkmate. This is a huge fight for Teofimo. A huge fight. This is absolutely huge. So the 1 and 2 individuals in that division is absolutely Teofimo and Lomachenko. And Lomachenko, he gets the nod because he's a unified champion currently anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Teofimo Lopez. He has the IBF title, but you have to consider him about to step in there and fight for the undisputed titles. So that gives him an edge up front when it comes to, kind of looking at how these top dogs, these top lions will be ranked in the lightweight division. You know, it's a big deal. This division is a big deal with these names. All of them are tied up right now for 2020, besides Devin Haney. So we still curious to know who's going to be in line to fight Devin Haney. That's going to be a good fight. Lopez and Lomachenko is going to be a good fight. Even though it's Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell, definitely I'm going to watch it because I just want to see how Ryan Garcia, because I need some more data on Ryan Garcia to see how deeply I want to support and what's my projection on how far he's willing to go. You know what I'm saying? He has a promising career, but I think it's more in Hollywood than boxing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Ryan Garcia is going to be one of those movie stars later on in his career. Boxing is going to be a pastime for him. And then Gervonta Davis. The only thing I can say is he's going down to fight Leo, and Leo's belt is on the line, and Gervonta's belt on the line. So it's one of those reminders, like Sugar Ray Leonard fought at 168. He fought light heavyweight Donnie the Blonde Lenon, and they came in at the catchweight. Sugar Ray belt was on the line, and Donnie the Lenon belt was on the line. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it happens like that in boxing. You don't even have to step into a division, but you can fight for the divisional belt. I was definitely trying to explain that to somebody, and they was like acting like it's impossible. It isn't. Gervonta's about to do it again. I wouldn't say Gervonta most. I could say, I got to say Gervonta and Leo Santa Cruz, really. Because the way it is, Leo Santa Cruz beats Gervonta Davis, he gets the 35 strap. And vice versa. Davis get the 30 strap. That's wild, ain't it? That's just wild, y'all. That's a lot of freaking maze to get through right there. So really, when you look at that ranking system, after this is all said and done and cleared, man, I think 2021 is going to be a blaze. Y'all, I just think that shit is going to be a blaze. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking forward to 2021 for the lightweight division. Let me get it to you right quick. Man, just think about this, let me get this share screen right here. Boom, boom. So you look So let's go down to 35. So of course, you know, you have these names that people are forgetting. Javier Fortuna. Just forget about Javier Fortuna that's up here. You know, he's been turning down fights and everything else. So just forget about Javier Fortuna. But you got number 2 and 3, Ryan Garcia, right? For the WBC. The WBA, after this get cleared up out here, we have a better picture of how these super titles are going to run. But besides that, you know, Davis coming off that fight with Leo Santa Cruz, why not set up an Easter Davis? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a while before Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia is up there next to the WBA. You know, or Gervonta fight somebody, whoever's the WBA champion at that time. You got the Jorge Linares in the hunt. Lee Selby, his name has been thrown out there, and what have you. And then it gets a little dim as you sway over to the right. You know, Lee Selby, Ryan Garcia, Emmanuel Tago, Dennis Berenich. I mean, it gets a little shaky. You got Linares. So it's real heavy at the top. But then when it gets down low, you just got, you know, like fighters like Gamboa that's in the WBC all the way down at 10. Like, how did he get the shot and move and get thrown all the way down to 10? That's where, you know, the politics come in at. He's number 9 at the WBA. And don't forget, you know, Felix Verdejo, he's on the resurge again. The IBF is heavy with pretty solid names. You got Verdejo, Magnolino, Richard Comey. It's only a matter of time before he get back in the ring. But yeah, it gets a little dense, man. What's crazy about this setting right now, as I'm giving you at 135, it's gonna have some names up there pretty soon. Believe me, it's gonna have some names up there pretty soon, y'all. Pretty freaking soon. I don't know if Leo Santa Cruz plan on vacating once he's done, win or lose, to move up to 135. That'll be another solid name. Joseph Diaz, I don't see him moving up anytime to 35. Jamel Herring, you know, he's doing what he's doing at the WBO, but seriously, as long as it took him to get the title, I don't think he's going to vacate and move up to 35, even though I think he has some good names to fight up there at 35. He has some very good names, Jamel Herring. And Miguel Berchelt, you know, that's the fight. You know, Shakur Stevenson is second. Number 1 is Oscar Valdez and Miguel Berchelt. Let's talk about this. Oscar Valdez was a former champion down at featherweight. Tough dude. You know, I liked him when I was able to interview him in Texas and everything. Very tough fighter. I would have liked if they was to set it up the right way, but we know how politics and boxing business is. It's Shakur Stevenson, another man that's one of the most overlooked and avoided fighters right now too. That's on the move. Carl Frampton sitting around down there. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Carl Frampton will want to step in there with Shakur. And I definitely know Chris Colbert. He isn't ready for that Shakur work right here. He's trying to get a title shot any way possible. And I don't think he want to, you know, really step up there to Shakur Stevenson. But what Shakur was saying, he was calling out Miguel Berchelt, but he turned around and said, Oscar Valdez, I'll fight you, and then the winner fight Berchelt. It makes sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world for that to happen, because he's ranked number 1. He's next in line. But if by chance he can get the fight with Oscar Valdez, it puts Shakur in a power move. If he wins, he get Berchelt. He goes in here and fight Berchelt. He gets the WBC title. Hey, that looks good on his resume. It looks good. So then he stays around and he pick and choose. He looks to his right and said, who else I want to fight? I don't think Leo Santa Cruz is going to fight Shakur Stevenson if he wins that belt after he comes down from fighting Tank Davis. I don't see it. And then it would be a good fight to link up with Joseph Jojo Diaz. Salute to JoJo. It'll be a good fight. Shakur Stevenson, Jojo Diaz, for real. They unify the damn division. It'll be good. Jojo Diaz is entertaining. He defeated Tevin Farmer. He did what he had to do. So we got to give him his love, man. Yeah, give this man his love. But I like to see Shakur Stevenson fight Jojo Diaz, and for Jamel Herring, I don't know if they're gonna make that fight. But yes, go ahead, put Shakur in there with Jamel Herring. That'll be a solid fight. But the one thing that's positive on this whole outlook is that Shakur Stevenson might be up at 35 by the end of 2021. And you know what that means. We're going to get some answers. We ain't going to have to ask Sway. Seriously, we're not going to have to ask Sway. We're going to get some answers. Because if Berchelt move up, Shakur Stevenson move up, Leo Santa Cruz vacate his belt and move up. Oh my God, the 35 division, regardless of who's moving up or not. Because Teofimo Lopez said if he wins the titles, he's staying there for some more fights because he knows he's going to get the big money. But if you're thinking about it, Berchelt, Valdez, I won't say Valdez. He just went up to 130. I'm not sure how long he's going to reside. But Shakur Stevenson, of course, on the hunt, one of the most avoided fighters on the hunt. It's only a matter of time before people change their narrative up on Shakur Stevenson. Seriously, Shakur Stevenson is a beast. He is an absolute problem. And he's going to be one of the best to ever do it. Believe me, he ain't thinking about that silver medal that he received in the Olympics. He's just hungry, salivating to sit up here and prove that he's all a gold standard when it comes to the professional ranks. So I'm looking forward. I hope Shakur get a belt soon. He get a fight by early 2021, whoever it may be. He get a title shot. And we can think about him moving on to around mid-2021, getting a fight, whether it's with a champion or whoever. I'm curious to know if Shakur Stevenson will want to unify down here in lightweight division before he moves up, or he's just going to focus more on unification at the higher weight class. So Shakur moves up to 135 while the other Lions are still there. It'll be absolutely incredible. It'll be absolutely incredible. I'm not going to lie to you. It'll be incredible. And we know Vasily Lomachenko is dropping back down from 35 to 30. So there might be a future big fight for Shakur Stevenson to step in there with Lomachenko, especially if he loses to Teofimo. Why not step down there and have another big fight with Shakur Stevenson? That'd be a great fight. That'd be a good name on your resume, everything. I mean, for Lomachenko, he'll be 14-2. He's still good. He's still good. He's still got some room to get about 3 or 4 more losses before he retire. He's still good. You feel me? I mean, I know you feel me. Boxing say Miguel Perchet is coming up. Of course he's coming up, but we got to see where the money at, because Berchelt know that Shakur Stevenson fight will be a pretty decent ticket. You know what I'm saying? And Chris Colbert, he may want Leo Santa Cruz. He may want him, but he has to understand if he's ready for that, in a sense where the amount of punches that Leo is, it's all about how Leo looks after this fight with Gervonta. You know what I'm saying? They're having a fight at 130. So it's all about how Leo Santa Cruz looks after he steps in there with Gervonta Davis, that Chris Colbert may either still want that fight or reconsider. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, I couldn't tell you. Because those individuals behind him, hey, got Abraham Nova at number 5 in the WBA. Okay. But yeah, shout out to Chris Colbert, man. AKA Prime Time. Salute to you, man. But we'll see how that works out. But there's a lot of goddamn lines in that. And it's still some that's coming up. Berchelt move up, that's another one. Shakur move up. Man, it's just going to be one of the biggest divisions right now. Seriously, just think about that. If those 2 or 3 lines move up from 130 to 35 and able to sneak on the tail end and snatch up a big name before they move up to 140, oh my God, that division is going to be absolutely insane. The minutia. Come on, man. The ambience, the boxing ambience of that division is just going to have so much radiating from it that we should be able to get some big fights. Now, of course, I haven't even thought about neglecting the welterweight division. I'm just saying that, man, there's too much bullshit. Seriously, it's just some insane bullshit that's going on right now with that division. It doesn't make any sense. Like, if Errol Spence wouldn't have had the car accident, let me take it off this, remove from the stream. But if Errol Spence would have avoided the car accident somehow, some way, off a big win with Shawn Porter, then potentially we may have seen him and Bud, because Bud did not duck the fight, nor did Errol Spence duck the fight with Bud. Bud had basically told Spence, you know, I want to make sure you're good to go before I fight you. I don't want to fight a broken Errol Spence and people don't give me credit for it, and it's supposed to be a super fight. So that's why you see Danny Garcia in the slate. He's gonna be the one to step in and face, and he's gonna be the assessment, the measuring stick. He's gonna give the data. It's according to how he performs against Errol Spence. So we get that fight. And then I know you probably heard about Keith Thurman offering $10 million to Al Heyman and all that. Listen, I know a lot of people are concerned about the fighters' pockets, but yet they're not the ones that's contributing to paying their bills, buying their cars and houses and everything. I'm all about fighters negotiating. I'm all about them putting out high numbers first and then working it down to what they can get that's reasonable. And I say this, and I'll say it again. Fighters need to negotiate above their worth and then let the numbers fall right back in where they initially wanted it to be in the first place. Because boxing does not pay after retirement. So since that is the case, you have to be smart, intelligent. You have to go out here and make sure you negotiate your worth. Else, when your money starts to go out because you got all these bills, expensive ass cars, you broke. And you never want to go broke in between fights. So you really don't have that optic that you can see clearly what's ahead of you as far as how long your boxing career is going to be. So negotiate, talk, communicate. You know, have a listening ear to the table. Let them know you're serious about this game, because it's all about you and your family at the end of the day. And when the money starts to go out and you're living that lifestyle, who's going to pay your bills? You're going to sell the car. Okay, you're going to get a depreciated value on it. Then you get to the point where, you know, you got the jewelry in the house, and then, you know, you might have an extra property you can get off of. But where everything goes downhill into the bottomless pit is when you don't have a residual. You don't have any other way. During your boxing career, you didn't open up a gym. And even if you did, you have to keep putting money in the gym for the money to basically put you in the green. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. So pricing yourself out of something, that's not even a language. I think every fighter should make sure they post their worth when they're going into negotiate and then work themselves down. You know, that's a smart way to do it. You got to be smart. Why have these fighters, you know, fighting for pennies and they're struggling to pay their bills at home? This after taxes, them paying their trainers and everything else that goes on with their house and their family, and they only have a little bit left. Now, that's selfish. That's selfish to only be on the outside looking in and say, well, we want you, you know, to fight so-and-so and you can take a little money. Man, that's the most ignorant, idiotic suggestion that you can have for a fighter that's stepping in the ropes, going through. I don't think a lot of people actually been through something where they had to train and be within weight standards. I don't think you lived in a structured environment where you had to train and be in weight standards. You go through pain. You go through a lot of situations that degrades you mentally. And then you still have to stay healthy. You got to eat, get a little sleep, then wake up, go to the gym again. Get the sparring in. Get beat the fuck up. Go after sparring, go running. Busted lip, nose, everything. Then go home, get some rest, be up in the AM. First thing, run. And a lot of fans, unfortunately, they just don't care about it. I think I care a little bit more because I've seen it. I've been in it. I had to do it. You know, I had the opportunity to be in the ring for some smokers against another military service. I know what it's like to, get hit with a glove, train, and stuff like that, and various other things that deals with martial arts. But when it comes down to these guys who are getting paid on the top level, this is what has to happen. They have to be smart about it, man. They can't be scared. They have to have some cojones. They have to have their balls with it. Like they got to have courage, fortitude. They have to be tenacious when they choose to. Not just in the ring, but when it's time to negotiate your worth, you have to let them know I'm worth it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's going to come down to who stays in the sport, because not everybody's career is going to expire the same. These fighters get injuries. They have to train and make sure they stay healthy in training camp, and then go in there and compete at max effort. It's a lot of variables to mesh together and put into the cachet. But at the end of the day, I say go ahead. Negotiate your worth. Come in high and work your way down the way you want it to be. Anyway, that's how you do it. And that's what you got a team for. That's why Teofimo Lopez was able to get the $2 million. I mean, that's a lot of money outside of what he had before. And once again, a lot of people are just upset that he was able to do that, able to accomplish that with just the IBF belt alone. He's never been unified champion. He was able to get that just off being the IBF champion alone. Teofimo is unified right now, WBA and WBO. And of course the franchise, but I'm just saying, just look at that. He came out his purse. So the fight's going to be good. The fight is definitely going to be what we wanted. I truly believe that. And I hope you, the fight fans, are somewhere close by so we can all tune in together. From my understanding, it's not. I repeat, not. So I'm inviting everyone. When the fight date nears, I'm inviting everybody over here for the fight party. You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to be on PPV, definitely we need to stop through and chop it up. I need to hear from the hardcore fans, man, the aficionados, the purists out there. What you're looking at when we look at this Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko fight. Hell yeah, that's what we want to see. So y'all got the open invitation, man. Make sure you stop in on the live and make that happen, and it'd be truly appreciated. And let me see if I forget anything. Of course, just want to make sure I tighten up before I bounce. I will probably, okay, let me see. Yeah, I want to let y'all know the WBC. The WBC is abolishing the automatic point deduction rule for unintentional fouls. So I'll say, okay, if it's big or not, they doing something else. The WBC been doing something different every other week, man. So they are abolishing it. Good. They just want to make sure, you go in there and you fight through hell to get that belt. That's the WBC. And last but not least, what made my day was the Zone did not approve Abney Yildirim as Canelo Alvarez's next opponent for that super middleweight WBC title that was currently stripped from Joseph Benavidez. I like that. Because goddamn it, Canelo is just walking around here like he can do what the fuck he want to do, how he want to do it. And that's just distasteful for somebody who's ranked top pound for pound. For Canelo Alvarez to request to fight Avni Yildirim, a guy who is in no way, shape, or form should be fighting for that title. I don't care where he's ranked. He shouldn't be fighting Canelo Alvarez. And the zone didn't approve it. I'm glad. Because I know that guy would have got a pretty decent payday, but the fans would have shitted on it. Like we doing now. We shitting on that fight. We shitting on Canelo too. What the fuck are you doing? You just picking people all over the place. You're not trying to dominate or unify, undisputed, become undisputed in one division. You just want to keep going all around the playground, kicking shit. You need to tighten up, shawty. You need to dang sit down, organize a to-do list, and make sure you understand what legacy means. Understand what legacy means, shawty. The way you just walking around, you just picking up a belt here and there, everywhere, but yet you ain't trying to come back to 160 and say, now, you know, I want a big fight with Charlo. Let me get Maul Charlo right quick. Since y'all been online talking shit to little bro, let me get a Jamal Charlo and take this fight. Give him a big payday. You know, let me make that happen after he go in there and fight Sergey Derevyanchenko. That's what we want to know. Go in there and fight Sergey Derevyanchenko, and then, you know, when you come out, who you got? You got Canelo Alvarez finally. We need to see Maul Charlo in the fight with Canelo. We need Canelo to sit his ass down and pay homage to what he's supposed to do when you're supposed to be the leader. What you're supposed to be doing as a leader is setting examples for others to follow. You ain't doing that. You just on your own free accord, ramping around this motherfucker, picking up a belt here and there, trying to ease in and get a WBC belt the easy way. No, fuck that. I'm glad they denied it. I'm glad they fucking denied it. Of course, we got Garcia and Campbell coming up. Then you want to go across the pond. You know, we have F.A. Jagba, who just signed with Top Rank and left PBC from my understanding. He's due to make his Top Rank debut in September. I look forward to seeing F.A. Jagba getting better. He really needs to work on his defense. Yeah, he may have power, but as you've seen in that fight where he got dropped, I'm not sure if it was a lack of focus on his behalf. He wasn't, I don't know. He was zoning out a little bit, but he didn't look the best, man. I'm not saying he don't have any promise, but I demand a lot more from Ajagba. Seriously, they was hailing this man to be the next Deontay Wilder and everything. I wish they would stop putting, just these formalities on boxers to emulate somebody when they haven't really had the experience yet. Just stop. Just let this fighter get what he need to do, improve, and stop comparing to other fighters that's all the way up the food chain, all the way up there. Clarissa Shields saying Amanda Nunes is not the GOAT. Man, you got two different female fighters at the top of the game. You know what I'm saying? And GOAT is just something that's an acronym, and really the people supposed to call you the GOAT. It sounds good when people create the nomenclature, but when you have two women in two different sports, anyway, I'm not talking about that right now. Benavides said, I'm definitely staying at 168. Just got to clean up my diet a little bit. Of course you do. Of course you got to clean up your diet, shawty. You got to clean up. Make sure you stay clean. Shout out to Vito Melnicki. Shout out to Vito, man. He was in high school fighting on Showtime card. Cool cat, man. Talked to him and his team when I was at the MGM Grand. He's talking about how he's gonna go in the ring, perform, and give 100% effort. I believe it, man. I've seen he fought one of the guys I've seen fall on the regional level too, Marcus O'Bailey. Shout out to him, man. What's going on, D Hodges? Okay, Gusto, what's good? What's good, everybody? But yeah, that's what we're looking at with Mel Naki. The Contender series. The series Contender could return on BBC with Tyson Fury as host. And, lastly, I said this before, though. I wanted to talk about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. is basically thinking about litigation against Mike Tyson for the 2-month delay. And he believes he should get compensated for the delay. Instead of it being September, now it's going to be in November. So from that time on to point B, Roy Jones has a valid point. His point is he should get compensated. If I was expecting, to go through fight camp and everything, and get this done and get back in shape, and you pushed it back to November, I should have a larger purse. And we need to talk about that. And I don't blame him either. Like, it wasn't his fault. I think Mike Tyson might have got injured or something. Like, he talking about he wanted to maximize revenue, but I think it may have been something else, man. Seriously. I think it was like an injury. He wanted to make sure it's time to heal, and they can get it in on November. But that wasn't just a week out. Like, Mike Tyson pushed that shit back. He's working on his Trio app. It's the League of Legends. He's trying to do a lot right now, and it's not going to go that smooth, coming out of nowhere. But when you push something back 2 months, Roy Jones has a point. Compensate the man for the 2 months you pushed it back. That's only right, Shawty. That's only right, man. Numbers: Frampton, Trenor, ESPN telecast peaked at 427K viewers. That's where we at. But yeah, you know what it is, man. Tomorrow I definitely will have the one and only featherweight king on there, Gary Russell Jr. at 11:30 a.m. So for whoever choose to drop by, you are invited. It's an open invitation. I look forward to talking to Gary Russell about most of the important issues that I've been reading on social media, because I know he'll tell you the straight up truth about it, and he's an important topic right now. So I'm glad I was able to link up and get him on, because he is a top topic. There's some other videos that's out there. There's some people just dealing with this situation. I really want to talk to him about potentially moving up to 147 and getting his take on some certain things with that move. I don't think it's absolutely dumbfounded, but if you look at it this way, if Crawford doesn't have a belt, and he doesn't, not a belt, opponent right now, then what? Why not? You just can't say people are going to say he's too small, because I can give you plenty of scenarios where, Michael Garcia fought Robert Easter. He was too damn tall, but Michael Garcia still dropped him in the 3rd round. So when it comes to size, the size is just going to have to matter about Gary Russell having the right fight plan. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a difficult task. I'm not going to lie to you. Moving up like that to face Terrence Crawford, it's going to be a difficult task, but I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see it. And if, who am I to say and doubt him moving up? That's his decision. He moved up from 26 all the way to 47, and he gets some good work. And he may get the upset. It changes boxing. It changes Gary Russell's entire freaking career. If he goes up there and shakes up 47 and somehow defeat Terrence Crawford on points, I don't even want to mention knockout. That's just too much to look for somebody who's moving up that many divisions. But if by chance Gary Russell was to win on points, it'll shake up boxing. It'll absolutely shake up boxing. Seriously. If he does it healthy, I really hope something happened. I really hope something happened that G. Russell fight somebody. But yeah, I'll definitely be on deck tomorrow. And look forward to talking with him again. And in the meanwhile, you all, appreciate everybody who stopped through. You know what it is. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Salute.